Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am coming with you guys today to share my little collage book that I have been playing in. You guys have probably on Instagram seen me share a lot of snapshots of the pages. I'm excited to flip through it, but today's going to be a collage with me. I've had a lot of fun playing with different colors and shapes. I've gone back and forth between like neutral tones, stark black and white tones, bright and colorful. It's kind of been a nice little wide array of colors and shapes and negative space, and just kind of exploring what I'm comfortable with and what is interesting to me at this exact moment in time. Yeah, collage is something that I was initially like very drawn to because of its accessibility. I really enjoy the fact that it's something that requires like destroying something and then creating something new out of it. And of course you don't have to do it that way, but it also is like one of those things that will give new life to something. And I really, I don't know, I enjoy that. I think that when I start making art, I keep trying to put meaning behind certain things, and I keep trying to create things that are familiar, not only to me, but who I perceive my audience to be. So like, part of the reason that I've taken off so much like with the abstract painting and now abstract collage is this idea that like I don't need to have it be something concrete that you can determine a specific meaning of it. You could honestly do anything with it. It's also allowed me to use, you probably have noticed some of these fun patterned papers are just the inside of security envelopes. They get sent with bills. We recently have been getting a lot of medical bills just because of the fact that my husband had to have surgery. And so, you know, I get really stressed out with clutter and paper, but I feel really guilty throwing things away, especially things if I think that I can use them for something. I hated all of the envelopes that were just getting like tossed in the trash or recycled, but our town doesn't have a very thorough recycling program, so it just kind of, yeah. So anyways, when I found that when my creative practice or the art that I'm creating or the thing that I'm doing, it starts to feel like too much, either too many steps or too much is on the page, or I have too many thoughts going in different directions. I find it easy to strip everything back, and one of the ways to do that is to go back, I don't want to say to basics. I don't necessarily think that collage is basic, but like stripping back to, you know, just like colors and shapes, I guess, is how I kind of view it in my mind. Taking out options. I know I just read Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, which I'm a little late to that party, but I read it yesterday. I read it in one day, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that part of it is just because, you know, he talks about like taking the pressure off, and also putting constraints on yourself. Like, it's not a bad thing to put limitations on your practice if you think that it can help you get out of a box creatively, which sounds like it wouldn't go together. Putting constraints on yourself will help you get out of constraints almost. But that's what this abstract collage practice has done for me. It's allowed me to stop trying to create things looking a certain way and just do what feels good. I've actually become obsessed with the process of using my glue stick. It's been very satisfying. like the felt sensation of using the glue stick has been satisfying, which is interesting for me because I have always had issues with using glue sticks and getting the glue on my fingers. I have a hard time sensory-wise with glue and things that are sticky. So it was an interesting development for me. I've also found myself attracted to like colors and shapes that I am not always working with. So it's been really expansive, and it's also, you know, this has been a more difficult summer in terms of like how I've been able to spend my time and like what we've been doing with the kids. And so it has been nice to come home and have like a very simple practice. I've just been working through a lot of the papers that I have collected over the past like 2 years. I've not been making any new fodder. I've just, you know, I bought some stuff from Megan and the Moon recently. That is a shop that I buy from fairly regularly. But yeah, like I've just been working through what I have. I come home, I throw scraps onto a page. I made this journal originally without knowing what I was going to use it for or really why I was even making it in the first place. And it's ended up kind of being a lifeline. And I think sometimes like our body almost knows what we need in order to process something. And if we let it, it will take us in the direction that we need to go. And so my intuitive collage practice has become very important to me this summer. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it while I did some collaging. There's no plan here. I'm literally just picking stuff up. I have like a pile of ephemera on the floor that needs to be organized. I did have some family recently share some magazines with me, so I do have new papers in terms of that. But I recently relisted my Oracle art. It used to be listed as like tarot collage. And I relisted that as an option on my Etsy site, with the idea of it being like an oracle card or a tarot card reading, if you're familiar or if you've ever had a reading like that done. But it would come to you via mail. It would be a written message, but you would also get a piece of art to go along with the written message it would be abstract so that you could interpret things from it. There would be the written message to go along with it. And it would kind of be one of those things where like it would have different levels to it. It's one of my more accessible offerings. As far as like what you get journal prompts, affirmations, a handwritten reading, a photo of the cards that I pull, as well as a piece of original art specific to your reading that you can frame and put on the wall, or you can place on an altar, or you can put it in a pocket in your journal or tape it in your journal, whatever feels best for you. It's originally started as like tarot collages where I just did it as like a kind of like the journaling collage I did starting off with this practice, which was a lot more stickers and just regular like journal ephemera. And I'm not saying that this wouldn't include that necessarily, but this is more like an actual piece of abstract art, like painting or collage or mixed media that I create with my hands. And it's, like I said, it probably won't include stickers just because of the fact that it will be abstract. If you have seen any of my posts on Instagram, sometimes when I post a painting or I post a collage or something, I will pose the question, what do you see here? And part of the reason for that is actually because scrying, which when you think of scrying, it's actually like fortune telling by the method of like looking into a crystal ball. But scrying can be done by gazing into anything. You know, watching the clouds. What shapes do you see when you look at the clouds? What shapes do you see in the way that the water runs down your window, like when it's raining outside, things like that. There are different types and forms of scrying, but I like this idea of looking at art from one type of like divination, one type of reflection, and then seeing what we also glean from it. So you can look at the abstract art and it can, you can see something new in it every single time that you look at it, and it will mean something different depending on where you're at in your journey at that time. So that is the offering. Essentially the process is me, we don't actually like get on the phone or anything. We can if you want to, like do like a video call, but generally what I do is I do the reading, I pull the cards, I write out the message, and you know, take a picture of the cards. I get all of that side ready, and then I just kind of like drop into like a flow state, which is how I create most of my work, and I just create what feels right to go along with that message, and the energy that comes from it. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do as far as like reading tarot, reading cards, and creating art for people. And I think the idea of having like personalized artwork is really fun, especially, you know, when it's work that somebody intuitively creates off of our energy. I am also currently working on the beginning process of organizing my first class that I would like to teach, which is an extension of my Inner Temple Building zine, where I kind of take you through the process. Like, we make a journal, and then I take you through the process of setting up the like meditation spaces, or the inner temples of where you'd like to go, of what you would like to work through, kind of almost like path working it, building an imaginary world. It helps with the visualization process. It's a lot of fun. It helps you feel just more connected to your spirituality and more grounded in your meditation practice, and it's what got me started in creative journaling from the get-go. I do still have copies of the Building Your Inner Temple zine available, and I don't know if I'll do a zine to accompany the course, but I wanted to do, just because I feel like I've learned so much since then, and I feel like I could add so many different layers, just like the abstract portion that I was just talking about. I could, you know, go through multiple spreads. So I'm planning this course. I'm gonna have it actually be a course where like you make the journal and then you build the worlds like in that journal. And we go through different samples, and so far it's gonna be creating your own underworld, and space to work with your inner child, and a space to meet with your inner muse, because since it's an art journaling class, I know anybody who is interested in it or takes it will probably also be interested in just connecting further with your creative process and dropping into that space. So I think that this is the first class that I'm going to work on putting together. I'm excited about it, but I have kind of been tossing around the idea, and I'm kind of putting it out here into the universe because I just want to kind of hold myself accountable. I always have these great ideas, and then I have horrible imposter syndrome, and I don't ever follow through with them. So I'm also just finding little bits on my desk here, and it feels good to include some of them, although I'm trying not to go overboard. This is sometimes I go really minimal, and other times I really layer it up. And the great thing about intuitive collage is that you can do it any way that feels right. So just to give you a sense of like what I'm getting from these images is like, here I'm seeing a house. How houses have been popping up in my abstract work and the marks that I make quite a bit lately. I think it's just, you know, I'm still very young. Like we just bought our new home like only a year and a half ago. So I'm still very much trying to figure out what it looks like to build a home, what it looks like to create that space. And here I am getting an axe cutting through a field. And full disclosure, I'm actually in the process of listening to the audiobook for the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. So that probably has something a little bit to do with that imagery. So I just wanted to give you guys an example. You know, we can make meaning and find meaning in the things that we create. You can find, you know, you can look at the clouds, or you can look at your art and you can see certain images, and they are connected to things in our lives or the feelings that we're having at that time. And so this is part of what I'm bringing with those readings. It's also part of what's going to be included in the class that I just talked about. I hope that you guys are interested. The link for my shop is down in the description. And make sure you sign up for my Substack and follow me here on YouTube and on Instagram to stay informed about when my class will be coming out, and when I have more information on that. And I hope to have another video up for you later this week. All right, have a good week, you guys. Bye.